Could you handle the loan repayment while I'm at work? I blurted out, my pulse quickening as I read the unexpected email. David, my husband, remained unnervingly composed as he replied, "Oh, sorry about that. I've fallen for another woman. I've decided to start a new life with her." His words hit me like a freight train, leaving me stunned and scrambling to comprehend. Despite my desperate pleas, David brushed me off, ending the call with chilling finality before disappearing into the abyss with his mistress, leaving behind a crippling debt that loomed over us like a dark cloud. As a mother to our 9-year-old son, Robert, I found myself plunged into a nightmare I never thought possible. The betrayal cut deep, leaving me reeling and lost for words. My name is Amelia, and at 34 years old, I never anticipated being thrust into such a harrowing situation alongside my husband, David. We were supposed to be a family of 3, with our brilliant son, Robert, lighting up our lives. Robert had always been precocious, his sharp mind hungry for knowledge. He'd often bury himself in books and articles, seeking to unravel the mysteries of the world. His intelligence was a beacon of hope amid our tumultuous existence. In stark contrast, David's erratic behavior and inability to hold down a job cast a shadow over our aspirations. I toiled away, grappling with the uncertainty of our future, while David's rare moments of stability provided fleeting glimpses of hope amidst the chaos. Lately, David talked about making memories with the 3 of us, and we decided to buy a $40,000 camper van. However, since David couldn't pass the finance company's loan review under his name, I ended up taking the loan for the car. On the long-awaited delivery day of the camper van, I received an abrupt email from David saying, "I'll graciously take the delivered camper van since the loan is in your name. You'll handle the repayments." I called him immediately, not understanding what it meant. "What's that email about?" I asked. "Well, I've fallen in love with another woman and decided to date her," David replied nonchalantly. "What? What are you talking about?" I intended it to be just a fling, but it turned serious. "So, I'm thinking of starting over my life with her." "Bye," David said, before unilaterally ending the call. This exchange was the first time I realized I had been betrayed by David, and it was a shocking blow. After that, no matter how many times I called, there was no response from David. When I got home from work and opened the drawer where the divorce papers should have been, they were already gone. Thus, I was left with a huge debt from a $40,000 car loan. Despite my attempts to contact my husband through emails and calls afterward, I never received a reply. Robert noticed my unusual behavior and came to check on me with concern. "Mom, what's wrong? You haven't been eating much lately. Are you okay?" Yeah, maybe. "I'm just tired," I replied, trying to compose myself. When people lie, they look up to the right. Lying is bad. "I've noticed Dad hasn't been home for 3 days, right? Did something happen between you 2? Robert asked, his words sharp and perceptive. Startled by Robert's insight, I took a deep breath, feeling that I could no longer hide the truth. I decided to tell Robert everything. "I see. It's just like Dad to do something like that," Robert responded, seemingly unfazed. "Aren't you sad?" I asked, concerned for him. "No, I kind of understood from how things were going," Robert replied calmly. While silently apologizing to Robert in my mind, I worked desperately, trying not to dwell on the dreadful events. However, my body betrayed me, and gradually, my health deteriorated. There was a training session planned at work that day, but I couldn't stand up and ended up squatting down. "I'm sorry. I can't stand up right now. I need to take a break," I managed to say weakly, hearing my colleagues' concerned voices. Suddenly, I collapsed. When I regained consciousness, I found myself in a hospital room. The doctor diagnosed me, saying I needed detailed examinations, and admitted me to the hospital. Feeling pathetic, I stared at the 4 drip in my arm and the white ceiling of the hospital room. Tears naturally started to flow. At that moment, Robert, usually mature for his age, rushed into the room with an extremely worried look. "Mom, what happened? Is it serious? You're not going to die, right?" Robert asked, his voice trembling with fear. Of course not, Robert. I wouldn't leave my dear son alone, I reassured him, relieved by his concern. That's good. I was called by the school teacher and told that you were taken to the hospital. I was so shocked, my heart nearly stopped, Robert confessed, his eyes filled with concern and love. Despite his usual maturity, he was still just a 9-year-old boy. With a strong resolve to get better for his sake, I underwent surgery promptly upon the doctor's advice. However, upon discharge, a month had passed since David's departure. Upon returning home, I discovered a demand letter for the car loan payment in the mailbox. Panic surged through me. The repayment should have been automatically deducted from my account. Frantically, I checked my cash card balance, only to find it depleted to a mere $33.90. David had done this. I wanted to confront him about returning the money, but I couldn't reach him. With no camper van to sell, my situation seemed dire, and my spirits sank lower. Witnessing my distress, Robert, ever perceptive, placed his hand on my forehead. You look pale. Are you feeling sick again? You don't seem to have a fever, though. I'm fine physically, but your father not only took the car, but also all our saved money. I can't work yet due to my condition, and now we're left with nothing, I explained, my heart heavy. I see. Then I'll deliver newspapers, and I'll search the internet for any work I can do, Robert offered optimistically. Encouraged by my son's resilience, I resolved not to succumb to weakness. I'll change my mindset and try to do whatever I can, I declared, forcing a smile. Robert returned the smile and surprised me with an unexpected suggestion. Let's plan how to get the car back from Dad. How can we do that? The camper van is in your name, right? I asked, intrigued. Yes, but what about it? Robert replied confidently. Then maybe we can. Robert's idea was something I had never imagined. His resourcefulness amazed me. And I have no idea where your father is, I added. Then let's check on my phone. We can see where Dad is in real time, Robert suggested, referring to the GPS app we had installed after a previous hiking mishap. As Robert demonstrated the app, revealing David's movements, I couldn't hide my astonishment. Is that so? But what if we find him, and he escapes again? Don't worry. I've already taken precautions, Robert assured me, his confidence unwavering. To my astonishment, Robert had acted independently while I was in the hospital, achieving something unbelievable. What did you just say? I exclaimed, amazed by his ingenuity. With Robert by my side, I felt invincible. Let's start the plan right away, I declared, ready to take on any challenge. 3 days later, my phone rang. Ah, it's me. Please, I need your help, David's voice pleaded. Don't play dumb. It's your husband, obviously, David replied, exasperated. I'll be right there, I said, seizing the opportunity to confront him. To my surprise, David was in a forest park near our house, being questioned by the police. With a sigh, I requested a moment alone with David. Inside the car, his mistress sat cross-legged, glaring at us. Sorry about that. Thanks for coming, David said, visibly uncomfortable. Why did the police suddenly show up at my place? I don't get it, David said, bewildered. That's because I filed a report about the missing camper van, I explained calmly. What? Why would you do that? David protested. It's obvious, isn't it? My car was stolen, I replied firmly. David's attempts to downplay the situation were futile. But I didn't steal the car. I just borrowed it for a bit, he argued. Well, I'd like to use my car now. Could you return it, please? I requested, extending my hand for the keys. With reluctance, David handed over the keys, confirming their return. As we stood facing him, Robert broke the tension with an unexpected question. Why did you abandon your family and choose to play around with this woman? Caught off guard, David scratched his head awkwardly, while his mistress chuckled smugly and interjected, "It's because I'm more attractive than your mother. Look at me, you can see it, right?" He fell head over heels for me and decided to leave his family. "Quiet, I didn't ask you," Robert rebuked her sternly, silencing her. David remained silent, unable to offer an explanation. "Fine, I'll talk," David relented. "Lily joined my company 3 months ago. We were attracted to each other and became involved at the welcome party for new employees. Later, it was discovered that Lily was pregnant, and I decided to start a new life with her, leaving you behind. Why did you take the camper van?" I interjected, feeling a surge of anger. "I quit my job and thought about selling the car for money. But it seems like you were using it quite a bit, weren't you? I thought it was a waste to sell it right away, so we decided to go on a trip," David explained. "How do you know all this?" David asked, puzzled. "Remember when Robert got lost? As a precaution, we bought him a kid's cell phone and installed a GPS app on it. We installed it on your phone too, so I knew where you were all this time," I revealed. David's expression turned sheepish as he realized the extent of our monitoring. "You are a terrifying child," he admitted, defeated. Facing the hard truth, David remained silent, unable to offer any rebuttal. In contrast, seeing Robert, only 10 years old, but able to think and speak his mind firmly, gave me a sense of strength as a mother. "Also, return the $20,000 you withdrew from my account right now." "That was our joint property as a couple," I demanded. "But if you stole and used the car and my money, that's going to be a serious crime," I warned, seeing David's reluctance. "I just sent the police away, so it's not their business anymore, right?" David argued, hoping to evade consequences. "I must add the theft of my money to the report," I declared, determined to hold him accountable. "Mum, should I call the police now?" Robert asked, ready to take action. As Lily tried to flee the scene, she let out a scream as her parents appeared, their faces red with anger. They had been informed of her actions, and they disowned her on the spot. Thanks to Robert's smart strategy, we were able to punish David and his mistress. They were released from detention but faced hefty payments to me. David agreed to pay $500 a month in child support for Robert and was introduced to a job at a subcontracting factory. With the support and other charges deducted from his salary, I sold the camper van, freeing myself from the auto loan. Since then, my health has improved remarkably, and I am energetically committed to my job. Robert has been actively helping with household chores and errands. Together, we move forward, determined to overcome any obstacles that come our way. In the end, through resilience and determination, Amelia and Robert emerged stronger from the trials they faced. With justice served and their future secured, they embraced each new day with hope and perseverance, ready to seize whatever challenges came their way. Together, they forged a path forward, filled with strength, love, and the unwavering bond of family. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more stories, and see you in the next story.